Okay, I'm sharing the screen. Can everyone see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so today is day two, right? Yeah, so day two.
Yeah.
So in this today's session, as discussed yesterday, we are going to see few implementation methodologies, correct? So what are those implementation methodologies? You know, what is the advantages of those, right? So all those things we are going to understand today. Okay. So generally in SAP implementation projects, right? We any company will follow two different methodologies, either any one of the methodology among two. Okay. So what are those? We have
Sir.
SAP methodology
Active.
and we do have Activate methodology, correct? Okay. So basically, what does this mean, right? What we do in SAP methodology, what we do in Activate methodology. See, always remember, if any methodology you follow, the ultimate goal is to make the project successful, correct? So no matter whatever the methodology you use, the main goal is to implement to make the project go live, right? So, okay, let me add 1 second. Yeah. So, which where the methodology, if we follow, will be better for an organization, right? So that is what we are going to understand today. Okay. So if I show, let me go to this PPT, okay, and we will understand what will be done in what kind of methodology, and we will also see the differences. Okay. So basically, if it is an SAP methodology, okay, so there are 5 phases in the project. What are those 5 phases? You will have your project preparation, you will have your business blueprint phase, you will have your realization phase, final preparation, and go live and support. Okay. But when it comes to activate methodology, okay, you will have discover phase, which is very similar to project preparation. You have prepare phase, you have explore phase, you have realization phase, deploy phase, and the run phase. Okay. So now you have gone through the terms, right? But what exactly we do? What is making the Activate methodology more efficient compared to the ASAP methodology is what we need to understand. Okay. So in order to understand that, first we will check what exactly we do in ASAP methodology, right? So what does we do in ASAP methodology? So as described in this diagram, correct? So let me take this diagram and paste here, correct? So what exactly we do here in ASAP methodology? Project preparation. So what does it mean? So initially when a company is signed up for a project, let's say an implementation project. So the manager, right? The management officer is, let's say Accenture or Infosys or TCS, correct? So what they does is they'll first estimate, how many resources are required, right? For in order to successfully deliver the project. How big is the project? Okay, and who are all the skills? What are all the skills? Who are all the consultants that are required in order to make this project successful? Okay, so all the initial planning, right, and the resource allocation will be carried out in this project, right? So they will do the initial setup. They will have the kickoff meeting with the client, correct? And they will discuss on the resource allocation, okay? And they will also discuss the number of resources for each module, okay? And they will also discuss on the budget, right? So on what basis they are going to charge the client? Is it based on the deliverable, or it is based on number of hours, right? or it is based on number of resources into cost per unit resource, like how it is. So entirely that level of discussion will be happen in the project preparation. Basically, it's you are preparing for a project, correct? And the next starts with the business blueprint. So that is what exactly even it was described here. So initial preparation, which is nothing but your project preparation, project management related activities. So who should be the PMO, right? And who is the project manager, who is the service delivery manager. Okay, so all such details will be given to the client. Okay, next in this phase, the very initial phase, no consultant or senior consultants will be involved. Only this will be at the level of manager, or the senior manager level. Okay, as any senior consultants is not responsible to discuss in the initial preparation phase. Okay, so the next starts with the business blueprinting. Okay, one second. People. I need to bypass, I think, so that there is no need for me to wait 1 second. Settings, meeting options. Uh, anyone, right? Anyone can and guess. Okay, perfect. Okay, so that anyone can join directly. Okay, so let me go back here, right? So what exactly we do in the business blueprinting phase? Okay, so in the business blueprint phase, as a consultant or a senior consultant, we are responsible to gather the business requirements and create a business blueprint document, and it has to be taken this sign off. Okay, like what we do there. So in the business blueprint phase, we call it as what BBP, correct? In this phase, consultants and the senior consultants are responsible for what? Responsible for gathering the requirements, correct? So how you gather the requirements? There are many ways to gather requirements. What are those? You conduct workshops with the client, correct? Or you may have some list of questions, correct? Questionnaires. You will ask those. You will prepare those questions, and you ask them, like how is your business process? What is that currently you do? You know, in order to handle your let's say preventive maintenance for plant from PM point of view, from SD point of view, how you manage your customer, how you how many types of sale orders do you have, correct? So such things. And what can be the other way? We can also just have a question and answer discussion. Like questionnaire is nothing but question and answer discussion. We can also have a Teams call, correct, with the client, right? Some in some organizations, some client may ask them to come for an on-site here, correct? You may travel to the client premises, correct? And you will have a discussion there directly, face to face. So there are many ways to collect the requirements. It's not only you just conduct workshop or you will be in remote. You will also have the opportunity of going to on-site and collecting the requirements. However, you will collect the requirements is what the main purpose you need to do in the BBP, business blueprint phase. Okay. So there are sub phases, in the business blueprint phase. So what are those sub phases? So whenever you collect requirements from the client, you treat that as your as is. Okay. So what is that as is? As is nothing but as it is. You can understand in that manner. What is that as it is? So you should ask the client like how your business is currently working on without SAP, right? See, when they are implementing, which means they will not have SAP, correct? They might have any other ERP, let's say Oracle or something, or they might not have anything, right? So, and they are newly planning to implement an ERP. So you should ask them how you guys are carrying your, you know, let's business process. In terms of PM, you should ask how do you know handle your preventive maintenance, correct? How do you handle your breakdowns? How do you handle your, let's say, shutdown, correct? How can you handle your, let's say, you know, machinery cleaning, right? How can you handle your mobile equipment maintenance, right? So these are their process, correct? So you will collect all the details, okay? So some might say that I will maintain my preventive maintenance schedules in an Excel sheet, right? And as a planner, I need to review the Excel sheet, review the schedules, and I will, gen, what, tell the technician or the operators by typing in an Excel sheet or writing it manually, in some way or the other, right? If they don't have SAP. So you will collect all such details, and that you document, in and that document is known as your ASIS document. Very, very important document which tells the all the exact business details or business processes, how it is, you know, till that date. Okay. So that is known as your ASIS document. Then after completion of ASIS document, you will document the to be. So what is the to be? So you will now say that okay, this is your business process. Now, how this is going to be mapped in SAP? How it will be in SAP, correct? So that is your to be phase. Okay, what you will do here, map the client business process with standard SAP solution, correct? SAP provides some functionalities as a standard, no? So you need to map their business process according to the SAP provided solution, right? So in doing this mapping, you will definitely come across a situation where their business process is something which is not fitting with the standard SAP solution. Correct? It is very quite possible. Not every client business process should fit or should match the SAP standard provided solution. Correct? So in such cases, what we will come across, we will come across a gap. Correct? You agree with me? So what is mean by gap now? So difference between, right? Difference between ASIS to 2B, correct? If there is a difference in the process mapping, then you call that particular process is a process gap, correct? So then that leads to what? Gap analysis. You agree? So this is again an important phase in the BBP. What is that gap analysis you will do? Okay. So when we need to document such gaps, let's say what is the gap? Let's take any example. Okay. So the client will say that I need a report, correct? He is using a report which give the details of what? Which give the details of machinery breakdown. Okay. And we assume shift wise. And the reason for the breakdown, he wants he is currently using such report for understanding how effective the preventive maintenance is and what are the details on which the machinery is getting breakdown. So now coming to SAP, is there any standard report available in SAP? Nowadays, yes, it is available. We can readily give the details, but let's assume if it is not available, if they are not using Fiori, okay, if they are just only using on-premise GUI. So is this report available? Right? No, this is not available, right? In standard SAP. in standard SAP functionality. So what we need to do as a functional consultant, we cannot say to the client that since it is not available, I may not give you this report. No. So what we should do, this will lead to some, you know, report development. Correct? You agree with me? We cannot lift our hands and say that since SAP is not providing, I cannot give you. Right? We should be in a position to, give whatever the client is asking, which is mapped to the ASIS process. Correct? So this may lead to your report development. Similarly, he might also say that, you know, the maintenance orders, right, should be sending to a local system. Local system in the sense they might be using some shop floor system. Correct? Maintenance, what is meant by shop floor system? Let's say it's a very huge plant, and from the central office, the planning team is sending the maintenance orders to the local shop floor system, okay, which is in some other location. So is this functionality it is the SAP is providing as a standard? No, correct. As a standard functionality, we cannot provide what? We cannot send, you know, maintenance orders to external system. But we need to enable this, correct? So what does it implicate? So it gives a requirement to develop an interface, no? Correct? Similarly, you will have some printout, correct? The client may say that I need to print out a maintenance order, I need to print the spare list, and I need to issue to the technician so that he will take those spares from the store and he will perform the maintenance activity. Okay. So what does it mean, right? So let's say, maintenance form printout, correct? In standard, yes, it is there, but the client says that I need to have my company logo, right? Because it's their reputation. Right? So in standard, can we enable their company logo? No, no. We should develop. So what does it tell? It's a form development, right? Similarly, he may say that whenever a maintenance order is released, or created, right, it should go for a it should go for a workflow or a approval. Correct? Should go for an approval by maintenance manager. Right? So what does it tell? It tells the workflow. Correct. So likewise, you should categorize the differences between ASIS and 2B, and you will also categorize what kind of development it is, right? So if you see the full form here, the very first letter starts with IR and starts with I, F, W. So which is nothing but your RISE Ws. Okay, very, very important. You should understand as a functional consultant. What exactly is RISE W? R stands for report, I stands for interface, C stands for conversions, F stands for form, E stands for enhancements, W stands for workflow. So what exactly now is an enhancement? You may say that you know client needs few additional functionalities. Okay, additional functionalities in the order execution. Let's understand. Okay, he may say that I need a few of additional functionality, few validations, all those things. We will see in detail what exactly the examples that we come across in enhancements. Okay, so that we need to perform via enhancements. Correct. So that E is known as the your RISE W. Okay, you clear? C is nothing but conversions. Okay, don't need to worry of what exactly conversions. In a given time, you will get to know what we do exactly in a conversions. Okay, so that is known as your RISE W. Okay, so that we will document and we will keep. And this completes your what? Business blueprint phase. Okay, you need to take the sign off. It's not like we just document and we can just keep within ourselves. Every document need to be taken the sign off from the client. Okay. We will not touch anything in the system. Always remember in BBP, till now we will not touch anything in the system. Okay. It is just our based on our experience and our exposure to SAP. We just document and we'll take the sign off. Next starts what? Your exact phase where you go through the system. Okay, what is that? Realization phase. What does that mean? In the realization phase, this is the phase where we do what? Baseline configuration. Correct? Yesterday, if you remember, we talked about this baseline configuration, right? So that is done in what phase? Realization phase. Okay. So once the baseline is completed, you should also take, you know, you should also start discussing the SFWs with the client, right? Because this is the phase exactly where we take the requirements for SFWs, right? For SFWs, and you should start documenting the functional specification documents with respect to the SFW, correct? So along with baseline, once the baseline is completed, what you should do? You should start, you know, gathering requirements for SFWs, right? So once that is done, what next? So once the realization phase is completed, you will obviously perform your FUT, correct? FUT for the baseline, right? And by the time, if you are able to complete your SFW developments, you will also perform FUT. But any project you work in, SFW developments will take time, correct? So that is the crucial stage of the project, okay, where you will have much workload because you need to start gathering requirements. You need to start writing the FS. You need to start giving those FS to the ABAPer, and you should prepare the test data, and you should make the ABAPer to develop this, and you should able to, and you should ensure that the development is working correctly as per the exact requirement. Okay. So that is where, as a functional consultant, you will have much workload in this development of receptor. Baseline anything, anyway, you can easily do the baseline configuration, not a problem. But it is what in the rise up you will have much workload. Okay. Next, what comes? Next is your SIT, as I told yesterday, followed with UAT, as I told yesterday. Correct. And final preparation phase is the phase where you will have your cutover, and you will ensure that all the SFWs and the baselines have completed SIT, have completed UAT, right? And finally, you do the go live, correct? So this is what you will do in SAP methodology. Now, what makes Activate methodology different to the SAP methodology, right? As I said, be it any kind of methodology, the main goal in a project is to undergo all these stages and to make the go live, correct? But what is that we do different in Activate, we will see now. Okay. See, in Activate methodology, there is no concept of BBP. Okay. You are getting me? What does it mean? You are not going to document officially, or you are not going to freeze the requirement in what? In Activate methodology. Then how it is, right? So what SAP has given the options are in SAP methodology. If you observe correctly, in BBP phase, as a functional consultant, are you going and showing or checking anything in the system? No, no. It is not. We are not touching the system in the BBP phase. But what happens in Activate methodology? In Activate methodology, we call it as a BBP, but it is not officially BBP. But what we do, we go through the system, we go through the system, you know, in terms of what? In terms of SAP best practices. Okay, means standard practices, correct? And you will show to the client what you will show to the client. See, this is how what is in SAP. Okay. Now you tell me, is that sufficient for you, or is that okay for you, or you want to enhance something? So what benefit you will get when you directly show the system to the client itself as a part of Activate methodology? The client might, before that time, client might be thinking, in his perspective, right? And he will always give the requirement in his perspective. But once if we show to the client like how the standard SAP system is, how the screens looks like, how exactly the transactional data looks like, right? Master data looks like, he may change his perception. Correct. There is a quite chance that he may change his requirement as well. He may think, okay, this is how SAP is. Okay, I am satisfied with that. Right. So what advantage we get? So we will be taking the client feedback in the very beginning stage itself, right? Instead of that, if you go with the SAP methodology, until or unless in SAT, he will not see anything with respect to the system. You agree? There is no chance, no? We cannot show him before SIT or at least in the FUT. But here, since SAP has come up with the standard functionalities, right, through the model plans, like you will have your model plans such as 1000, 1710, 1810. These are the model plans in the system, right? So if you just make the POC and show them proof of concept, he may change his requirement. There is a quite chance that he will agree to the standard functionalities. Yes, here and there he may come up with the customizations. That is there. But what we are trying to achieve here is we will be taking the feedback from the client from the very beginning stage itself, so that you will also be in a safer mode. He will be also, getting exposed to the system. So that kind of advantage is there in Activate methodology. Okay, you see that's what was written. You will collect the business requirement from users by following a new way of gathering requirements. Consultants will show them the standard SAP business processes using SAP best practices. Okay, right. So then once this is done, okay, what we do in the realize phase? Realize phase is nothing but your realization phase only. Okay. So in the SAP methodology, there will be no such concept of daily meetings, daily stand-up calls. Okay. What we do in realize phase here, you will have you will not have you must have you should must have stand-up calls with client. What does it mean? Regular touch up with the client. What is mean by that? You should update your daily progress, you know, to the client and your project manager also. So hence that is the reason you nowadays if you see as a functional consultant, daily you will do nothing except calls, except attending calls. Like I'm just joking. I mean, if 60% you will be in the call out, correct? So you need to update your status not only to the client but also to the internal management, project manager. Okay, with that, what happens exactly? You will tell your difficulties or you will tell your progress to the client and your project manager so that they will not get last minute surprises later, right? But when it compares to ASAP, there will be no such you know stand up calls or daily meetings. It's a conventional way of working. Okay, so what happens at the last, you may end up giving a surprise to them saying that okay, this is not done yet, this is not completed yet, this is very difficult. So you cannot say, that at the time of your fit. So that's the reason what now we were doing. We'll tell them that what are the difficulties you have, which objects may take time, which objects can be done easily, so that they will also be aware of the timelines. Okay. So that is the one major difference you will find in the realization phase in the activate methodology. Okay. What else we are doing in realize? So when I say you will have regular startup meetings, nowadays that is being handled in a agile method, agile way of working. What does it mean? In agile way of working, you will have your scrum master. Okay, this is also a certified course nowadays. Certified scrum master exam is there. What does the scrum master do? Scrum master acts as a bridge, between developers and the client. Correct? Means what is his responsibility? He will be acting as a bridge or a kind of facilitator between developers. He will coordinate the work progress between developers and the client. Okay, he will take the requirements. So he will conduct the stand-up calls. Generally nowadays, the project manager is calling as a scrum master, but when you actually work in an agile project, scrum master, there will be a separate person who is known as scrum master. Okay, and you will have your product owner. Who is the product owner? Obviously the client, or the key stakeholder. He is known as your product owner. Correct? So let's say, for example, if it is in plant maintenance, there will be one or two persons from the client who is responsible for the plant maintenance module implementation. Correct? So he is known as your product owner. Who are we? We can be remain as consultants, and we can all remain as the developers. Okay. In general, the traditional developers are the ABAPers, right? And we remain as a functional consultants who will be working under Scrum Master. So where the Scrum Master will be, most probably he will be in on-site only. He will be directly facing with the client. He cannot be in remote, right? But as a consultant, we can be there in on-site, or you can work from the remote. Remote in the sense you will be in India and the project might be Europe or US project, right? So this is how it is in Activate methodology, correct? And what you will do as a consultant, like as I said, we from the beginning of the project itself, you will go through the system, and whatever the standard processes are available, you will not wait. You will just go ahead and you will perform the simple unit testing. Okay, and you will just show to the client this is how it works. Okay, and what we do in the deploy phase. Okay, see in deploy phase, if you remember here, if you correctly observe here, in general, when we do the SIT in SAP methodology, okay, we should prepare our own test cases. Do you agree? Prepare own test cases, test scenarios manually, right? Manually, okay. But whereas in Activate methodology, SAP themselves are providing list of test scenarios, standard, not any rise of Ws, but standard test scenarios SAP themselves are providing. Okay, for us there is no need to manually prepare the test scenarios even for standard functionalities. Okay, so with that, what has happened? You will save much time here. So you will list out all those SAP provided scenarios, and you need to document those scenarios. Okay. Next, what was the next option that we have in Activate methodology? When it comes to UAT, okay, you will in general in SAP, sorry, in ASAP methodology, we will tell the business users to perform UAT on their own, correct? Business users to perform UAT on their own, which means what? You will not give them, the list of predefined scenarios or list of predefined test cases. You will just tell them, okay, you test whatever, however you want to test, right? There is no such predefined, you know, process that is there. So what is that guy will do? Assume he is much lazier than us. What he will do? He will just test one or two scenarios and he'll say, okay, okay, everything is working properly, right? So, but it is not it shouldn't be the case, no, because we will end up with much errors in the code. So what here it is providing. So we are or we must, provide the list of test cases as per SAP best practices, no, to the client, and you should tell them that you give me all the test results document. It's you cannot leave them saying that okay you test however you want and it's up to your wish. No, so we should take that responsibility to tell to the client that see these are the list of test cases we are providing to you and you are responsible for providing me the test results. Okay, without that we are not going to move further. Okay, so we are giving some deadlines to the client. Okay, so that is there in a an activate methodology. So with that what happens, he is bound to or he is responsible to test those all the scenarios and he is responsible to provide the screenshots or provide the confirmations in an email. Okay, so then what happens, so he will do entire testing properly, which will drastically reduce the errors in the production system. Okay. So next, what is the third advantage that you have? So when it comes to data loads, what is meant by data loads? Master data we need to upload in the system, right? Even in ASAP methodology, you do the data load. See, as I said, whichever methodology you follow, our ultimate the process won't change. But what we are exactly doing here, you are improvising the process, right? You are making the process accurate so that you will not end up with errors in the later stages. Okay, and at the same time, SAP is also providing some ease to us, right? Some more options to us. Okay, in order to reduce our workload and so that we can focus much on the quality deliverable. Okay, so when it comes to data loads, SAP are providing what? Few standard tools. What does this mean? Like in LTMC, is there anything that we should prepare a template in LTMC? No. SAP themselves are providing the LTMC templates, right? And SAP themselves provide the recordings for LSMW, okay? Batch input methods and all. But when it comes to, you know, the ASAP methodology, okay? So in with respect to the data loads, you know, we should manually prepare the load templates, okay? So which is additional work for us, okay? But when it comes to Activate methodology, SAP is providing, you see, data migration for master transactional data using LTMC tools, okay? So that options are there, in the Activate methodology. So if I show this diagram now, see, this is your traditional ASAP methodology process, whereas your Activate methodology starts with, as I said, discover, prepare, explore, realize, deploy, and run. Okay, and these are the sub phases. What does you do in the discover phase? You will do exactly what you are doing in a project preparation phase in ASAP. Okay, but it is little bit kind of accurate. You will see many of special designations in the project and all. Okay, and set up an enablement fit to standard analysis, which is nothing but your gap analysis, and you will do the design, which is nothing but your baseline and rest of W developments, right? And solution realization, migrate, integrate, extend, test, okay, onboard users and deploy, operate, maintain, support, innovate. See, this has Activate methodology has got a huge, information. When I say huge information, let me show you a few documents. Okay. Uh, okay. Yeah. Let me open this. You will get huge information in internet as well. Okay. So you see, this many phases are there, which sub phases are explained. So discover phase project. I will also send this document. No need to go into much, at our level. But that's fine. It's completely depend on how you guys are interested. Let's say strategic planning. What does you do in the strategic planning, which comes under your discover phase? Okay. What you do in the prepare phase? Okay. So this has a huge document. Okay. Bit confidential. You can download it from standard SAP site. Okay. But I'll also upload this document. You guys can go through. Okay. Okay. No need to go into that detail. Whatever I had explained and whatever the phases we are going through, if you can just explain in the interview, that is more than enough. Okay, nothing to worry. Now, since we gone through the the exact functionalities or exact activities what we do in both of the methodologies, now we will differentiate and understand the differences, right? So benefits of SAP Activate over SAP ASAP methodology. What is that ASAP? ASAP is nothing but your accelerated SAP. Okay. A stands for accelerated. Okay. See, what is we do in Explore? Instead of theoretic business blueprint discussions, now users would be able to see SAP best business practices processes, which will give more confidence to the business users while giving their requirements. Correct? As I said, we will be showing the system directly to them, right? So there is no point of assumptions. There is no point of their perspective is different from our perspective. Nothing, no drama, nothing, right? We'll just show them the system. See, this is how it is. Now, is it fitting your requirement? Yes. Okay. Freeze it. Is it not fitting your requirement? Okay. Provide us your requirement. That's it. Okay. So that it will give more confidence to the business users. Correct? And what in the realization phase, users can participate. What does it mean? In SAP methodology, if you see, as I said, till FUT phase, they cannot see anything in the system, right? There will be no chance even for us to show them what exactly is there in the system. But now, since it's an Activate, see nowadays majority, I would say 90% of the projects are being handled through Activate only. Okay, you cannot tell to the client that okay, we cannot show the system to you. Only you can see a system at the time of FUT, nothing. Okay, day one or day two, you will start discussing the client through the system functionalities only. Okay, so users can participate. What does it mean? They will have the live interaction with you or the live screen sharing sessions with you, and they will also go through what SAP is really offering. Okay, and regular stand-up meetings to get business user feedback. As I said, you will have number of meetings in the project phase. When you are going with the Activate methodology. Okay, Scrum Master can monitor the weekly progress using sprints. Okay, what does it mean? What is meant by sprint? You will get to know in the later slide. You will get to know what is meant by sprint. Sprint is nothing but you are segregating the deliverables into smaller targets. Okay. If you see the deliverable as a big target, it may bring down your confidence. Okay. When you break down it into smaller deliverables, you will think that okay, only I need to work on this object this week. Correct. You need not to focus much on the larger portion. Okay. So that week is known as your sprint here, sprint planning. Okay. You will get to know in the later slide. Don't no need to worry. Okay. And what is that we do in a deploy phase in Activate methodology? Pre-delivered end-user training material can be used for end-user trainings. Okay. There is no need for you to document newly. Okay. SAP standard is providing some predefined screenshots in terms of master data, you know, all those things. So you can just modify here and there, and you can show to the and you can provide the training to the end users. Okay. And what else? You will have pre-delivered test scripts which can be used in UAT. You have pre-delivered data migration tools which through which it makes your job easier. Simple, correct? So that is what you do in Activate methodology. Now, you know, in Activate methodology, you can again go with two different way of working. What does it mean? Yes, it is an Activate methodology, but the way of working can be your waterfall or it can be your agile. Okay, means what? We will discuss. What is waterfall, what is agile. But if nowadays no company or no service partner is using the traditional waterfall methodology. Okay, everyone nowadays are using agile only. Okay, so what does we do in agile methodology? Sorry, agile way of working. You will distribute the work, or you will break down the work into multiple sprints. Okay, what does it mean? Let's say your DBT phase or your realization phase is 3 months or 4 months. So you will bifurcate that into 4 sprints, or you can do it as 8 sprints, 15 days each sprint. Okay. So what is you do in each sprint? So what you do is in that given sprint, you should only do you should only develop one or two objects. Okay. You need not to focus on an entire workload. So what benefit it makes? So that you will have a focused target. Correct. You need not to worry, or you need not to think much on other deliverables. That will be dealt later in the coming sprints. Whatever the target is there in that sprint, you are responsible to complete, to deliver that in that given sprint. That's it. You need not to think much on what is happening in the other sprints, what is going to happen in the later weeks. Yes, it will get into shape once we reach to that sprint. Okay. So we are just simply to say you are bifurcating the work into smaller targets. Okay. So that is known as your sprint. Okay. And you will, like as I said, there is a huge notes available in internet on the agile way of working. I will also share that. Like the Scrum Master is responsible to do the sprint planning, to track down the work progress in the sprints. Okay. And he will communicate the same to the product owners, right? And he will be responsible for coordination and all. Okay. So you will be just under him as a functional consultant, and you should provide your work status updates to the Scrum Master. Okay. Right. So like does it uh, can it be happen in waterfall methodology? No. It's a very conventional way of working. Means you will not have any stand-up calls, you will not nothing you will have. Just the client gives the requirement. After that, you will not even talk to the client weeks together. Okay. So even he will not have visibility what is going on. You will not have clarity what he has asked for. Correct. So with that, what happens? You know, you see this flow chart. You see, this has got only forward arrow mark, no backward, no interaction arrow marks, right? Which means what? You will just take the requirement, you will not talk to him, client will not reach out to you, you will do something, he is expecting that some other work is going on. At the end, he will say, this is not that I asked for. I asked for something different, and you gave me something different, right? So that kind of confusion and all was removed, and everything was made transparent, in agile methodology. Okay, right? I mean, just there is one small representation, right? Which is very funny to see. If you see, the client is asking, I need to have a cradle for a tree, right? So what if if we go with the waterfall approach, what you did, you have cut the tree into two pieces and you have made the cradle in between. Okay? But what if you would have gone through, I mean, just a funny representation, just to tell the difference of way of approach, way of working. When you would have done through agile, you will first tie a thread to one of its branch. You will tell to the client, see, I have tied a thread. Okay. Next, you will tie one, tire kind of thing, and you will tell to the client, okay, now I have tied some tire to it. Is that okay? Now, then you will tell, you have placed some, planks on that, and you will tell to them, is that okay? He will say, no, no, I need some, good seat and all. So he will attach a good seat, right? So what is happening here? Every progress you are giving that update to the client, right? So any changes here and there, he will do. He will tell there and then itself, correct? So that what happens at the end, you will have your quality work, right? You will have your deliverable in such a way that he is also very satisfied. But in this case, you will, if since you haven't spoke with the client or he has not reached out to you, he has asked something this and you have made something this, right? So it's a kind of funny representation. So that is being avoided nowadays, in the agile methodology. Okay, right? Clear? See, it has got when you search in internet pages together, you will get the information, but not required to that extent until or unless you are going for any certification for Scrum Master. Then you need to go through all the details, approach everything. But from the consultant point of view, if you are aware of how it works, what are the differences, that should be more than enough for you. Okay, is that clear for everyone, right? So all this, whichever I had explained, is ultimately in an implementation project, correct? So there are a few more projects, right? Not only you will get a job or get assigned in an implementation project, you may also get a rollout project, correct? You may also get a project which is a support project, right? You may also get a project which is ECC to S4 HANA transformation project. Okay. You may also get a project which is into you know development project, right? You cannot always say that I must only get an implementation project. No, it's not that. It is not in our control, right? So what exactly we do in a rollout project? What is meant by this? Rollout project is nothing but there is already it was production go live already, okay, but a new additional plant is being set up, okay. If a new plant, if a new plant is being set up, you know is being set up, right, then we should extend, no, we should extend that new plant in SAP, right? So that is known as your rollout. The name itself is saying you're just rolling out the functionalities for a new plant. That's okay. So what you will do, you will just configure that plant and you will extend all the configurations which are at the plant level to that plant, okay. And if there are any specific plant specific SFWs, right, so you will you will develop such objects developments. This is very easy, very simple project, right? So we'll just have a not only one plant. If they may say you need to implement or I need to roll out for 3 to 4 plants, okay, yes, we'll just extend those functionalities for those plants, okay, in the system. Okay, so that is known as your rollout project. What is meant by support project? Many of them would have known by this time, right? So you are responsible for what? Responsible for production support. Already the system, the project is go live, and you are responsible for any issues that you get in the production system. Okay, right? So that is in the support project. Okay, what you will do in ECC to S4 transformation project. So the client till the time is using ECC, and they need to. Okay, can uh, can you go on mute, please? Murali, let me mute. Okay, fine. So Alvin has got some doubt. Yeah, Alvin, you can ask me. You have
I
raised your.
just wanted to know, like, what do we actually do in cutover activities, actually?
Okay. Yeah, even yesterday there was such a doubt. See, now if I tell you what we do in cutover, it may be a bit, complex or difficult to understand. During the course of time, once we go through the implementation in the system, then I'll explain what we do in the cutover. Okay.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. So where are we? We are, in yeah. So now they were in ECC and they need to now migrate to S4 HANA on premise. Okay. So what you will do? What is the work that we have as a functional consultant when we are transforming from ECC to S4 HANA? So what we do here? So generally we are responsible for, you know, moving the configs, correct? Moving the configs, the baseline configs, correct? Because it's altogether a different box, no? Moving the baseline configs to new HANA system. Okay. You are responsible for what? Data loads from what ECC to S4 HANA, correct? Then what else? You are responsible for, sorry, S4 HANA, okay? You are responsible for, you know, RSFWs testing, correct? See, nowadays it's kind of a version, no? Mobile OS version. If it is a OS is getting updated to a newer version, now there will be definitely some improvements, right? So if it is in newer environment, like compared to ECC, S4 HANA is a newer environment. So in the newer environment, some RISE-FWs may not work as expected. Some functionalities may not work as expected. Reason? Because it is on the newer environment, newer database. So what we should do? Should test each and every functionality, not only RESTW, any standard functionality, and you should clearly ensuring that all is working properly. And I'll 100% say you that some functionalities will not work as expected. Okay, the customized development. So what you should do? You should accordingly reach out to the developer, and you should make some necessary changes in the program. And again, you need to test, and again, you need to ensure that everything now is working properly in the newer environment. Okay, even that is a major work that we will be doing as a functional consultant, and the technical consultants are responsible for modifying the changes according to the newer versions, newer database, and providing to us. Okay, testing the standard functionalities. Okay, and RSFWs as well. Correct. So what we do, in in a development project. See, in a development project, by this time, Gola would have already happened. But what is that we do? Additional development, Gola already completed, correct? But there may be some scenarios or some requirements which were not taken up in the initial phase of the project. I mean, in the phase one of the project. So we will develop some more additional functionalities, more rise of WS as a part of phase two, or you can call wave two. Any name you want, you can give, right? So by the time they would have go live and daily business transactions are taking place, and moreover, some of the SFWs which are not covered initially because of some budget constraints, time constraints, whatever the reason can be. Now you are taking up that work and you are doing the additional delta development works. Okay. So that we will be doing, in a development project. Okay. Right. So these are the different kinds of projects you will have where where you will be working as a functional consultant. Okay. You will have a lot of things in the support project and all that we will be discussing, in the given course of time. You will clearly understand what we do, what is meant by SLA, what is meant by ticket priority. When we discuss on examples on the tickets now, in some day, then we will discuss what is meant by SLS, right? What is meant by escalation, what is the ticket, how to handle the ticket, what are the ticketing tool, all such things. Okay. But as of now, like you should be aware of, the work we do in a SAP versus Activate, Waterfall versus Agile, okay, and roles and responsibilities in the different kinds of projects. Okay. So till now it's clear for everyone.
Yeah.
Any doubts you guys have? I started recording now. Oh, okay. Sorry, I was a bit scared that whether I started or not. Okay. So I'll pause the recording for now. Okay. Okay. We'll just cover one point here. Okay. That is, KDS. A very good point you brought in. Okay. So you will have one KDS. What is meant by KDS? Key data structure. I will show you one sample KDS. Okay, for you. I'll upload the system or tomorrow or no. I can show the KDS. What exactly we do is we take the configuration values from the client. See, for us to do in the realization the baseline, you should know, no, what is your planners group, what is your section, what are your equipment categories, what is your structure indicator, so all such things. Just simply to put in a simple way, you will take the configurational values from the client. Okay, so that is known as your KDS, key data structure. Okay, I will show you like once we cover the master data, in the system, then you will clearly understand what exactly we cover in the KDS. Okay, so no need to worry. But it's a document. It can be in a Word document or it can be in an Excel sheet also. Or in some clients, very bigger clients, they will give their own format. Okay, you should update your KDS in their format. Okay, so but the main agenda is you are responsible to take the configurational values from the client. Okay, so that will be there in the KDS. Okay, okay, yeah, okay, then